Avi Meyer's Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine. Check us out on YouTube, Community Policing, caps24.org. Sonny in his spare time is chairman of the District Advisory Committee of the 24th District. It is a pleasure to introduce you to the executive director of Stand With Us Chicago, somebody who's a very popular guest on the show and even got some very nice Facebook comments from a number of people. When I listed you, one of them's, well, Lori Diversity, as a matter of fact, was going you and Paulie Miller, two of my favorite people, among others. And of course, we're talking about Peggy Shapiro. How are you?
Good, good to see you again.
First of all, my pleasure and thank you. And tell us what's new and exciting with Stand With Us Chicago.
Oh, you know, sometimes I wish there weren't new and exciting things in what we do, but there are a lot of challenges going on to Israel and in our community, in Israel itself, and on our campuses. And that's what we do for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So, but we try to approach it a little bit differently in a unique way. We are out there to get the information, the correct information out to the community, introduce facts into the discussion of Israel, and not make it a Jewish issue, not make it a young issue or an old issue or an American issue. It is an issue for anyone who's concerned with humanity, democracy, liberty, freedom of expression. Those are the people who should join us. And getting facts to replace a lot of the misconceptions that are being bombarded on people, it's really something that is a challenge for us. And this weekend I have a speaker coming. It's not for big public things, but here's how we operate. I'll give you a little vignette. There was a reverend from South Africa, Kenneth Mshwe, and he was a member of parliament and was in England where BBC interviewed him. And they asked him, Reverend Mshwe, what do you think about apartheid in Israel? And he let them have it. He said, I lived through apartheid. How can you insult and minimize the African experience of what that was by calling Israel an apartheid state? And he said, I've been to Israel and I've seen it too. And he had such a powerful presentation, and BBC was just caught totally off guard. Roz Rothstein in LA, our CEO, called him up and said, how would you like to come to the US for a tour?
Oh, wow.
And he's coming. I'm picking him up this weekend, and we are going to some churches, and he's going to be speaking before the Chicago Board of Rabbis.
Oh, very nice.
So that's one way that we get our messaging, not in the typical or traditional way. Last year when I was here, I said, we had a young man, Kasim Hafiz, come to speak at colleges all over the place. He was in training in Pakistan. He was going to be a terrorist.
Wow.
And he decided, you know, before I put that belt on and make what will be my last decision of my life, I want to make sure that it's a good decision. So he did some reading about Israel. And what he read didn't jive with what he'd been raised with in a very Muslim section of England. And then he decided, well, before I die, I'm going to go to Israel and see for myself. And he saw Muslims going to pray, Muslim businesses, and he just saw the reality. Muslim patients next Jewish patients in hospitals. He decided not to kill himself, which is very lucky for him, for his family, and actually for us, because now he speaks for us on campuses. And he's
Great.
a very cool, very hip young man, and it's so nice that he chose life.
It's an excellent decision, and not to mention not taking it. That's great. That's really, I wish there were more people like him.
Yeah. Well, we reach out to them. Another thing that we're doing, and I'm kind of excited about, we have a gala every year called Campus Champions. And to be a campus champion, you don't have to actually be on campus. Although if you are on campus and are championing Israel's cause, it's fine. But we want people who are supportive of these students. So we're having a gala it's December 8th. And our keynote speaker is Zudi Jasser, Dr. Zudi Jasser. If he's been on television a lot. He narrated a film called The Third Intifada, and he is a really good Muslim voice for what is good for the Muslim community, and that is not to be at war with Israel. He's concerned about Palestinians, and what will make their lives better is not to be at war with Israel. What will make their lives better? To give their kids education instead of indoctrination. And so he speaks up for the rational benefit of not only Muslims and Arabs, but everyone and Jews in the whole region. So he's our keynote speaker.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So no, you've got definitely a good array of people, and from very interesting viewpoints. I really enjoy it, especially when people like that are speaking on these sort of subjects. Because the truth is, the facts really are on Israel's side. And, you know, people don't even begin to realize. Somebody on Facebook, which, you know, is something I use a lot, and I know you're there a lot too, was decrying the fact that Israel was not happy about 60,000 refugees, you know, coming in from Africa. And, you know, this person who otherwise didn't seem to be particularly anti-Semitic or anything, well-intentioned, I started asking, you know, I wrote her, I started asking questions. Do you realize how big Israel is? You know, people think Israel is this gigantic Leviathan. Israel, the way it should be constituted, he has about, in my book anyway, has about 11,000 square miles, which is just a few hundred square miles larger than Cook County. And only has about something like 7 million people, I don't know the exact number.
Right.
And it's just not that big. And compared to, I think it's 842,000 square miles of Arab countries surrounding it.
And it's comparable to the U.S. taking in approximately 35 million people in one fell swoop and trying to accommodate. And Israel has taken refugees, though. When the Vietnamese boat people were at sea trying to find safe harbor, where do they end up and find home? In Israel.
And we were one of the few people to help out in Darfur when the United States, you know, wasn't doing anything about the horrible genocide going on there.
And who was the first to land in the Philippines? Just last week.
I didn't realize that, but I'm not surprised. As a matter of fact, how many countries helped with Hurricane Katrina and the other problems? Israel's the only one.
Yeah, Israel, when there's a need, listen, you've got human beings. There are some things you can do and some things you can't, some decisions that are better and some that are worse. But if you want to go in with a magnifying glass and look at, oh, I think I see a little problem here that Israel did something wrong. Yeah, you can explode it and make it bigger. But I am very proud of Israel's humanitarian effort. You know, what happened in Haiti? Israel had a hospital, a field hospital, set up, running, doing operations, while the U.S. and the rest of the aid countries were still in the airport trying to figure out how to unpack their bags.
And that's not to mention the fact, well, no, as a matter of fact, you know what? No, you're 100% right about that. And, you know, when you talk about, when people want to pick and criticize about Israel, they should take a look at the other countries, too, and see what the state of affairs is there, because it's really, in almost no cases whatsoever, better in the way, I mean, the way other religions, take a look at what's happening in all the Arab countries with all the Christians who have been slaughtered and are in danger of being slaughtered.
The Christians are learning a very hard lesson. The war that starts with the Jews doesn't end with the Jews. It embroils all of humanity. And now there's just an abomination of what is going on with Christians being persecuted, churches being ransacked and defiled, and people being murdered for their beliefs.
And I could talk to you another half an hour, but we really are out of time at this stage.
Okay.
So
I would like to invite you to join us.
It's Campus Champions.
Campus Champions, Sunday, December 8th at the Highland Park Country Club.
Okay, we'll see if we can make it. That'd be great. Oh, my brother's getting married December 8th.
Oh, mazel tov.
Thank you. It's going to be tough, but hey, we need you guys to show up instead of me, so pack the crowd. Peggy Shapiro, stand with us, Chicago. Thank you so much.
Good, thank you.
Bye, everybody. Bye. Thank you, Sonny.